have to start with the news that broke this week. It's coming back. Big Brother is coming back. We got the news earlier in the week on the tail end of Love Island. Well, how did you react to the news when you heard it?
Well, what do you think? I just exploded like a rocket. Oh my God! Yeah, I heard that. I heard rumours for a long time, and the producers rang me that morning to warn me what to expect, and so I was so excited. I watched Love Island. I don't normally watch Love Island, and I just couldn't believe it. I was so excited to see this very image.
It's the eye.
It's the eye, the all-seeing eye. And, of course, the voice, your voice, Marcus, it is absolutely synonymous with the show. We can't imagine Big Brother without you, to be fair.
God, no.
And I'm hoping the producers can't imagine it without my voice either. So,
it's like the Catholic Church, but not having the Pope.
Well, exactly. Yeah. We need Pope Marcus.
What's the point?
Have you heard anything? Have they talked to you about it? Obviously, they warned you that the announcement was coming. Did they tell you anything else?
That it's early days, and I'm sounding hopeful, but there's nothing been decided yet. So, like yourselves, I can't imagine hearing it without my voice, but of course I'm biased. So... and sort of praying to the gods, and hopefully, we'll see. But it is early days. That nothing has been decided, and that includes the presenters. So, let's see.
Okay. I don't think people would stand for it, to be honest.
But wasn't there a day when Peter Dickinson didn't do X Factor, and there was uproar?
Yeah, I think there'd be uproar if you weren't in it.
Too right.
You've got to be there.
Peter's a friend of mine, and I was disgusted for him. So
yeah, No, we need your voice wrapped around that Big Brother when it makes its return next year. But when it does make that return, because it was huge success around the world. You were there from the very, very start, so you know about it. But as it travelled, the format changed in different markets. Now we're hearing that it may be going back to the very basics when it returns next year. So what have you heard? And is that the way it should go, in your opinion?
In my opinion, yes. I think what you need is amazing housemates. Don't manipulate them too much. We need people from all walks of life, ordinary people. That's what we're crying out for. We don't need influencers and all that jazz. We need to see real people. And that's where we got the likes of Jade Goody from, and Nikki Graham. All right, they were extraordinary housemates. And they're so hard to find. And that is the real problem for the producers,
And it's funny because obviously when we think back to Big Brother, it was out on its own. And nowadays there is a lot of reality TV. And we know that. And when you think back to Big Brother, it might even seem a little bit tame now by comparison. Do you think it can compete with the new style reality shows that are out there now, Marcus, when it comes back? Or do you think, it'll be relying on nostalgia maybe a small bit?
I think a small bit of nostalgia, but it'll have to compete with whatever's out there. But quite frankly, the original format will blow out all those pretenders out of the water. These producers that we have gone all over. They work on all these shows as well, but they all started on Big Brother. And that's all across the world. One of our main producers is coming back to do the show, and she's been over in America doing all sorts. And so these people have got their hands on everything. They know what's going on. They're not naive.
Okay. In recent years, there's been a large emphasis on aftercare and looking after people's mental health after they've been, be it in a Big Brother house or particularly in the Love Island villa. Was this something that was in place during your time on Big Brother?
No, absolutely. The healthcare, the psychiatrists are around 24/7, and they're just amazing people. Doctors, and anytime those housemates want to speak to somebody, because the pressure in there, it's a pressure cooker, and I can't imagine doing it. It would be just drive you crazy. And they're able to speak to these people before they go in, all the time while they're in there, and afterwards. So yeah, the aftercare on Big Brother is second to none.
your voice is, as we know, instantly recognisable to millions and millions and millions of people. But how did you get into this? I mean, let's face it, you're not the RP-type presenter that you might expect, or even sort of the estuary accent that we hear a lot.
I'm very disappointed he's not in a dinner suit.
Yeah.
With a stiff collar.
How did you get it? How did this become your gig, Marcus?
Well, I'm an actor originally, and back in the day, I'd accidentally fallen in. I'd had a really good few years as an actor, then I'd had a real couple of stale years, and I randomly wrote away at what I thought were acting agencies, and I wrote accidentally to the top voiceover agency. I got in with them, that was great, and I started doing quite a bit of work. And then when Big Brother came looking for people, I was with the right people. They liked my voice. And they asked me to do a little demo. And in this demo, they mentioned chickens. And the Channel 4 commission editor loved the way I said the word chickens. So I got the job.
We love the way you say it again.
Chickens.
Yeah. Give him the gig. Just give it to him.
Absolutely.
And just put in lots of chickens.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, over the years, Big Brother has had some brilliant moments, standout, iconic moments that will go down in television history. And the one that we're all talking about today, as we're getting ready for tonight's show, was David's Dead.
Wow, yeah.
Like, what are your memories of that day?
Well, it is, I always say, it is the greatest moment in reality TV ever. I mean, you can't imagine. I mean, my friends ran me up at home and said, you've got to get in early because you'll never believe what's happened. And they told me, and I thought, oh, no way. And when I saw it, my jaw just dropped. Just a perfect storm of, for that season, having David Bowie's ex-wife from many years ago in the house, and somebody called David, and he just happened to be having a lie down that day.
That's
when
David Gest.
David Gest, and David Bowie died, and she had to be told, of course. And then Tiffany Pollard with this mega overreaction and miscomprehension, and oh my goodness, I just can't believe it even happened.
It was, I know, the confusion with the David's Dead.
And it grew legs.
She made out it was David Gest. It was the sad passing of David Bowie.
Yeah.
Angie was there, needed to be told, and obviously had to leave the villa. But it was what happened later in the year that made it kind of spooky.
Mm.
Yeah, the poor fella died, didn't he, in real life? So, it was a premonition.
I loved the one where you ended up being the star of the show yourself, Marcus, where you had to go in and live narrate inside in the Big Brother house, and they had to ignore you. What was that like? Because obviously you're used to being in a booth in front of a mic, but now you're walking around describing what you're seeing and trying to keep a straight face.
Well, I'm very comfortable just being in the booth. And when they first asked me to go in, I thought, I'm not too sure. But then I relented and thought, you know what? Because it was the last one on Channel 4, and it was potentially going to be the last one ever. So I thought, right, I'm going to do this. So I went in, I was really nervous. This was a big thing. I'd been watching this like everybody else for years. And it was a massive series. That was Josie, John James. It was a massive series. And I went in, and I was a little nervous, but I thought, I'm just going to go for it because I'm an actor originally. And I just sort of played a part. And I was in there, I mean, what you saw on TV was about 3 minutes, but I was in there about 4 hours, narrating them live. And sometimes it was creepy. I got into bed with a gang of them, and they were trying to embarrass me with tales of sadomasochism, and I was narrating that. But yeah, it's gone down in Big Brother folklore because John James was passed me a Jaffa cake, and I mentioned these Jaffa cakes, and goodness knows why I didn't get an advert, flogging the biscuits, But it was fantastic. It was fantastic. Best task ever, and I was involved in it, so I'm very proud,
Why wouldn't you be?
It was a memorable Big Brother moment, all right.
Sure
and we hope that when it returns, you'll be there with some Jaffa cakes and to entertain us in 2023.